from Hot Talk 99.5.
8:35 on Hot Talk 99.5. It's the Hot Talk Morning Show along with Dave and Liz, Dave Priest and Liz Calloway. Appreciate you being with us here on this Tuesday morning. It's the 19th of May. Only a couple weeks left in this month. Man, it's almost over. Of course, Memorial Day coming up this weekend. If you're looking for something to do, or if you're looking for just a little bit of closeness and communing with nature, you might want to check into the Tigers Preserve and Myrtle Beach Safari. Definitely worthwhile. And I'm still trying to clear my schedule so I can get out there. But Robert Johnson is here with us, and we always appreciate your visits. Robert, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Liz. I'm glad to be here again.
Been seeing all the pictures recently. I mean, just about any time if you're on TV, if you see a picture of animals being cute, you pretty much know, even if it's a national commercial for whatever, the biggest product in the world, you know that those animals probably came from the Myrtle Beach Safari. I mean, the commercials that are out there right now with the orangutan and the blue tick hound, or whatever he is exactly, those are from your place. I mean, the dog on top of the elephant diving into the waterway, those are from your place. I mean, you've got some famous animals. Are they like divas over there?
They really are. They really are. They know their celebrities. They know their fame, and yeah.
So recently there was some publicity that you got on Good Morning America and some other TV shows with a couple of your stars over there at the Myrtle Beach Safari and some baby tigers. So tell us what happened.
That's right. Well, actually, one of our orangutans, one of our very famous orangutans, Surya, grew up at the preserve and hung out with his caregivers, and they would also take care of tiger cubs. And he saw them feeding them a bottle and wanted to start participating. And we said, you know what, this is really cute. Let's film this. And Discovery Channel came and they wanted to film it. And just all of a sudden, in a 48-hour period, it blew up around the world.
Yeah.
64 million hits on
God.
YouTube
Wow.
in 8 hours. And we were on Good Morning America, Today Show, CBS News in the evening.
We even talked about it here on the Hot Talk Morning
here,
Show.
This is
That's
where,
big time.
This is major. Man. This is audiences.
Yes. But what's really exciting about it, and you have this book, Animal Friendships of the Myrtle Beach Safari, and that's not something new that happens at the Myrtle Beach Safari. There are all sorts of unique relationships that you would never imagine could happen. I mean, especially with the alligator.
The alligator and his turtle, yeah.
Yeah, to me, it seems like an alligator would be difficult to be friends with.
They get along. We have an alligator who was out there, and there's a bunch of turtles in the pond, and just one day we walked out and there was a turtle riding around the pond on an alligator, and we're like, that's funny. We took a few photos, and we came out the next day and it was the same thing.
Wow.
And it was the same turtle, and we'd see them laying together. The
That's
turtle didn't
weird.
have a name until that point, but now his name is Spartacus. That's one bad turtle right there.
That is a perfect name. But
Now-
there are all sorts of relationships, and we mentioned Bubbles before, the elephant.
Bubbles and Bella.
Yeah.
We do develop a lot of very unique relationships between the animals. And the book that you're reading, literally,
Yes.
we just laid it out. It came out this week.
That's awesome.
But the animals, different species are able to get along because they're in an environment where they don't have to worry about food. They don't have to worry about safety. So they develop abilities and relationships that they might not otherwise be able to develop.
Now, you were talking about orangutans a minute ago, and I was telling Liz before we went on the air that I was really bummed when I found out that Nutella has palm oil in it. And because
so are we.
Yeah, because Nutella was one of the things that I, over the past few years, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I wish this was invented when I was a kid. But I know that the palm oil, well, go ahead and explain what the correlation between all that is.
Well, palm oil is actually one of the number one killers of wild orangutans, as well as other things. Tigers and sun bears and all kinds of species. They're actually clear cutting the forest. This is happening in Indonesia, is where it's very big, but now it's spreading to West Africa. It's going into the Amazon. But they're taking old growth primeval forests, chopping them down, selling the hardwoods off, and they're planting it with palm trees that grow these palm kernels.
Right.
And they're using it for palm oil. And it creates what they call a monocrop. So you have this area which appears to be green and lush, but nothing can live in it because it's only this one plant that lives there. So you're wiping out all of these species, and you're creating environments that are really kind of a false environment. And it's palm oils. Not only is it bad for the environment, it's not even good for you. It's not good to eat, but it's a few cents cheaper per gallon, which is why everybody uses it, and a few cents here and there is not a whole lot. But, when you're talking about companies that have billions of gallons of palm oil, it makes a big impact on their profits. So unfortunately, like you say, it's in Nutella, it's in ice cream, it's in laundry detergent, just about everything you find.
Geez.
So there are a number of companies that are, realizing what it is and realizing that their consumers don't want to consume palm oil. And so some of them are slowly changing. But.
Now, I've heard about this new program that's been going on regarding camera traps, and maybe you can explain more about that and why the Tigers Preserve is sponsoring some of these camera traps around Botswana.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the main things that we do for conservation is supplying equipment to the different organizations in Africa, in Asia, South America, with whatever it is they need, and camera traps is one of the very good ways that we do that.
Now that sounds violent, but it's not.
It's not actually. It's it's something that you can go to Walmart and buy now, but it's just a motion activated camera that you leave out in a remote area. So it helps in quite a few ways. We helped with the reintroduction of rhinos into the Okavango Delta in Botswana recently. So we have camera traps that we have sent to them to help monitor those rhinos. It's also very good for finding out the activity of the people, trying to keep an eye on poachers and what's going on as well. And a project that we're working on in South Africa is that farmers come into conflict with lions and leopards and cheetahs because those animals are going to eat their goats and their sheep. So a solution, again, kind of like the Lantern Project, where it's kind of around the way to get there, we provide these farms with dogs, livestock guarding dogs, that really become part of the herd. And a dog barking is so foreign for all the big predators in Africa. It's not part of their environment.
Right.
They're kind of afraid and they shy away from it. So by putting these dogs on those farms, it's keeping the predators away from the livestock, and therefore the farmers aren't shooting those very endangered predators.
Again, that's thinking
amazing.
outside the box, and again, thinking around a way of doing it. That's an awesome way of thinking of things. You're talking about rhinos, and we're talking with Robert Johnson from the Tigers Preserve, Myrtle Beach Safari. It was just the saddest thing watching these pictures here. I'm looking at a picture right now of armed guards in Kenya that are surrounding a white rhino, that are saying that he is the last male white rhino in the world. And to me, it's so sad that if you get down to the point where you can count how many of a species there actually are, that's just depressing to me. But the fact that they say that there's like 5 white rhinos left and 1 male, I mean, that's so horrible.
Yeah.
And I think they cut down his horn too to discourage poachers from wanting him.
Right.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's one of the subspecies or small groupings of the white rhino. It is sad, and that they have the rangers that are out there walking around with it. But unfortunately, at this point, it's kind of just a token gesture. And,
It wouldn't help.
You need thousands. You need 5,000 of any species to propagate that species into the future. Otherwise, they become functionally extinct.
Right.
And having 1 male left, it's just not going to repopulate.
Now, how many species are about to go extinct because of poaching in particular?
It's hard to say just because of poaching, but because of poaching and because of development and the fact that there's more than 7 billion of us on this planet, we're actually losing up to a dozen plant and animal species every day right now. Most of them are things that people don't necessarily know about or even care about, some species of snail or some kind of water plant or something else. But there are a lot of the megafauna, the very charismatic animals that are going extinct quickly. tigers, less than 3,200 wild tigers in the whole world right now. You know, they could be gone in the next decade.
Yeah, I hate that. I mean, that's ridiculous that that we could do that as a species to cause
yeah.
you know, those species to be extinct. I mean, just magnificent animals like that.
Well, and that's the great thing about the Myrtle Beach Safari, because, you know, what I can do from here at my vantage point in what's going on in Africa or India is just impossible to even conceive of. But when you go to the Myrtle Beach Safari, you not only learn about it, but you get to participate in your efforts in certain ways. So tell us more about the Myrtle Beach Safari.
Well, the Myrtle Beach Safari is by far the most interactive wildlife experience in the world. I mean, we regularly have people that fly from around the globe. It's one of the only things that I know of in Myrtle Beach, that people are coming from Africa, they're coming from Asia, they're coming from Europe on a weekly basis to come here specifically
Just
to base
for that.
their vacation around. Yeah. So you're coming, you're sitting down, you're interacting with tiger cubs, with chimpanzees, with some of these very rare and endangered, the great apes. We have our big African elephant, Bubbles, obviously.
It's amazing.
And, you know, she comes and takes carrots out of your hand, and she'll usually use her big trunk and snork you on the head. And,
And it's not just, you know, one person in the group. Every person gets their individual time
Yeah, it's
with these
4 hours
magnificent
of
animals.
incredible interaction.
Yeah.
But this interaction, very often, it affects people in such a way that they really start caring and understanding about wildlife to a whole different degree. You know, a lot of people they don't have any connection to wildlife. Some people go to zoos, but even, you know, not everybody goes to a zoo to even see them. And this just takes it so much further beyond that. So you're learning about the animals, you're caring about the animals, and then the great thing is we take the money that we generate from
Right.
this, and then we put it into these wildlife conservation projects all over the world. You know, you're talking about the camera traps. We've got 5 different organizations that we're supporting, that we have sent cases of these things to. You were talking about poaching. Actually, I just bought some backpacks from the local Army surplus store and sent them to friends in Zimbabwe that have an anti-poaching unit in the Zambezi National Park. And these guys are out there. They're spending up to 10 days at a time deep in the bush in the national park, and they're tracking down poachers and even armed elephant poachers. But, you know, their gear is just wearing out, and they're in Zimbabwe and they don't have any money. So, you know, we get camera traps. One of the recent things that we're doing, I'm going to Zimbabwe in December to meet with these guys and go out and patrol with them. We're buying them smartphones. And you get the smartphones, and they give them to some of the local villagers in the area who are absolutely thrilled to have them. And in order to have them, in exchange, they will take pictures of anybody who's illegally coming in and out of the national parks.
Right.
And then it has all the metadata attached to those files, GPS coordinates, time, date, location, all that kind of stuff. So they're, in essence, by donating these phones, we're helping create a network of informants on all of this illegal poaching.
Well, speaking of networks,
amazing.
do you work in concert with other groups like yours around the country, around the world, to do these things? Because some of the projects you're talking about, whether it's giving lanterns to people in India or whether it's giving dogs to people in Africa, that seems like a lot for just one little group in Myrtle Beach. Do you have help that you do?
We work with a number of different organizations all over the world. You know, our main job is to support those grassroots projects that are already in place, or people that want to start them. We help fund and make that happen. You know, like the Lantern Project you mentioned, that's with the Corbett Foundation in India. You know, working with the gorillas in Uganda. That's an organization called Conservation Through Public Health. So we supply these people with the equipment, with the funding needed to do that, and then our staff go work there hands-on with the people on the ground, helping to make it happen.
So where's the best place that people can go on the internet to find out more about the Tigers Preserve, the Myrtle Beach Safari, how to help you out?
Well, there's a couple different places to find out about the Myrtle Beach Safari. Very simple, myrtlebeachsafari.com. We'll tell them really how they can have the best wildlife experience they're going to have in their life. If you want to find out about all the conservation work we're doing, we have a nonprofit portion of our organization called the Rare Species Fund. So the money from the Myrtle Beach Safari goes to the Rare Species Fund. So you go to rarespeciesfund.org. you'll find out about all those different conservation projects.
And
we're
you
working
have
with.
this new book out also, Animal Friendships of the Myrtle Beach Safari.
We do. I'm not sure I actually should have given one to Dave because you can only get them by coming to the Myrtle Beach Safari. They're not for sale anywhere. So
We'll make it.
I'm giving this
It's
to you
gorgeous.
in faith that you will
I definitely
someday show up.
I
Dave.
really definitely want to. And do you still have your setup at Barefoot Landing?
We do. Yep. We're at Barefoot Landing after Memorial Day weekend. We'll be open from 6 to 9 p.m. every afternoon.
MyrtleBeachSafari.com is the website that you'd like to go to. Robert Johnson, always a pleasure to have you and keep up the good fight.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks, Dave.
you.
Thanks,
All right,
Liz.
8:50 on Hot Talk 99.5, the Hot Talk Morning Show, along with Dave and Liz. A full look at your weather coming up next. Let's find out what we have now as far as more of your local news.